How you getting on, folks? Look at today. We had a poor one. Basically, we did. There's no doubt about it. Like I'm after getting into a run of form now. That's just it's not been great. I think overall, like, look at we had one winner there today, worth in it, and like I know French Dynamite. I'm not even going to scream and shout about French Dynamite simply because it was 1-10. He was sure to win, but Royal Illusion, in fairness, now put up a very good performance there at 8-13. I know, look at it's short as well, but as well as that, look at we were very unlucky with Amor Verdadero, who was, I suppose, look at it. It was definitely in the shake up of things. I don't know whether it was going to win or not, but it was definitely going to be in the top five, top six, maybe turning in. But just Jordan came out of the saddle there, coming turning in. Um, as well as that, then we had Stansfield. Look at it, was unlucky. I think if the jump had been kept in, he would have finished an awful lot closer. He certainly was taking plenty of lengths out of the field with his jumping, and I suppose when the added the added length of the running then as well didn't help his case. But in fairness to him, he did run on. He is one to be taken into I suppose, the summer jump season very, very strongly. I witnessed very disappointing. And I think that's basically it. Yeah, that's basically it. What I have anyway. But look, at tomorrow we're going to have a crack at it again. There's some nice big prices in here that hopefully, look at, I've been fairly lucky with in the past. Uh, I suppose going out on a limb at I suppose double figure prices, and look at, they've sometimes been fairly good to me. But look at, it's all about, I suppose, just trying to keep the positivity going and trying to get a few more winners under the belt than what we have been doing. 120 though, the first race off. This is going to be the first leg of a treble for me. I'm really going out on the limb here now today. We're going to be doing a fairly nice price treble. And this one here, I'm going to be going with Champagne Sparkles here for Gordon Elliott and Jack Kennedy, currently priced in around 6-1. This one here, look at it, for me anyway, it's one of the more likelier ones. Look at the favourite coming in here. It's hard to know really. It's hard to know really what's expected of it. I know it's the money is coming heavily for it now, and it is gone into I think a shade of odds on there now at the moment. But for me, I just think it's not good enough. I think there's more potential and more, I suppose, capabilities in behind that should be capable of really putting in a very decent performance. And Champagne Sparkles is one of them. Third the last twice. Hasn't really gone on for what I'd like in terms of overall improvement and progression and everything else like that. But look at Gordon Elliott is, we may as well call a spade here. Gordon Elliott's coming on to his last couple of days now with the license in his name. He's going to want to get plenty of winners. And in my personal opinion, one of the more likelier ones for the Gordon Elliott team is going to be coming from Champagne Sparkles here. I think it's not necessarily the toughest to race. I think the drying ground is going to um, certainly help its chance. Looking at the bloodline, um, generally, I think from the stallion side, the offspring are more summer ground, different things like that. So that's definitely going to be a big plus for him. And in my personal opinion, I just think that a little bit more improvement, which more than likely will come, is definitely going to be a beneficiary for this Champagne Sparkles here. It's obvious when you look at the likes of Navin, um, whereas he had a four timer in Fairy House during last week as well. So the Yard are in absolutely tremendous form. I think overall, Champagne Sparkles, there's more to like about it than not. And I think with Jack Kennedy on board, it's definitely in with a serious shout. And at a price of 6-1, it could well be the start of a very nice treble here, and would certainly be a nice little leg up for the start of the day as well. Moving on then to the 150. And I said already that Gordon Elliott is going to have well, hopefully have a very good day or a very good couple of days now coming on to his last couple of days in the license. And he has an odds-on favourite here with Don Diablo. But just personally speaking, I don't quite like him. And the only reason is he's generally consistent. And he's always put up a very, very decent performance. But he's always found that one too good. There's a horse that actually on his debut, he met Geraldo in Stolen in 2019 or 2018. It was one of the two anyway. But he met obviously Geraldo this particular day. There was only a neck between them. Now Geraldo, in my personal opinion, hasn't really gone on to what he should be. When you look at the price tag, when you look at the bloodline, he's branded a superstar. And just in my opinion, I don't think he is. I just think that, well, he's not a superstar at the moment. He could well turn out to be, but he'd want to pick up his improvement fairly lively now at this stage. And the same coming here for Don Diablo. He's just always found that one too good. Now, I suppose, granted, he has been meeting very, very decent opposition, and he has, I suppose, found a very, very nice opportunity here. But at a price of 4-5 for a horse that hasn't won a race in, I think, 5 or 6 goes now at this stage, it's worrying, and I wouldn't be going for it. Elite Charbonnaire here, 2-1 coming from the Willie Mullins setup. Obviously, when you're looking for winners, Gordon and Willie are nearly always the first two you look for. In my personal opinion, there's not much to split himself in Elite Charbonnaire. Elite Charbonnaire obviously ran a very good race in Naas last time out. I think it was 5th, to a fairly decent sort as well. So there's very little between them. I just thought that Elite Charbonnaire showed plenty more improvement than Don Diablo has done already. In my opinion, Don Diablo is possibly regressing instead of progressing. And I just think that, granted it is a weaker field in what he's been meeting, I just think that if there is an improving sort like Elite Charbonnaire, it might just, I suppose, blow up in his face and I suppose spoil the party a little bit. So that's just my opinion. I'm going ahead at 2-1, and realistically, this is why I am going for it. I see a little bit of potential here for this Elite Charbonnaire, and I think tomorrow is going to be the day. 220 then is going to be the second leg of the treble I'm going to be doing here now. And it's more of a stability bet more so than anything else. With Eurotip for Willie Mullins and Aubrey McMahon taking £7 off. Realistically, this horse should not be beaten. He's going to go from the front. There's no doubt about it. Once he gets into the lead, it's going to take a hell of a lot of a hell of a serious horse to stop him. Realistically, I think he was gifted the win last time out in Punchestown. That Gavin Cromwell horse that's just gone out of my head, who was, I suppose, branded to be a very nice sort, that just didn't really turn up that particular day. No, it's gone out of my head. I can't think of the name, whatever it was. But that was his main market rival for the day, that particular day. As soon as the set off, you knew there was something wrong with him. He never laid a glove. He never tried a leg. So obviously it was a penalty kick for this Eurotip. But obviously, it's meeting nothing really of the same standard as this horse. I can't think of the name, whatever it is. But it should be very, very comfortable here. I honestly say that 4-7, I know it's a very, 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 very short price. But it should not be beaten, and it should be winning by a very, very cosy margin. 225 though, this one here is going to be the nap single of the day, and I am personally going to be going with Brendan Murphy and Gary Noonan here, with Ballycanes at 5-1. I cannot honestly comprehend how good of a value this is. 5-1 for a horse that's the only horse in the field to ever run in a champion hurdle. Albeit it was majorly outclassed that particular day, but realistically, this horse has been running very, very credibly of late. He was second and third the last 3 or 4 times now in Dundalk since the season resumed over the Christmas or over the winter. Obviously, look at he was only beating a neck and a short head on nearly all of the occasions. Like, so, he has been race fit. He has been going for wins. And I just think that this horse, look at being by Finscale Fior. Obviously, look at Finscale Fior is one of the top dual purpose stallions in Ireland at the moment. And in my personal opinion, he's starting to become known more as a national hunt sire rather than a flat sire. Obviously, look at with the likes of Joe Cup for Ted Walsh, who has been absolutely prolific since the start of their this year. Obviously, looking with different I suppose types of ground, like heavy ground, soft ground. He's generally prolific in good ground as well. Look at Ballycane's. Obviously, look at he sort of started out as a hurdler there with Nicky Henderson, but I think he went over to Slattery then from Nicky's, and obviously Brendan bought it then for himself, and he's been training him ever since. But he has been very, very consistent. He has been, I suppose, a little bit frustrating for Brendan with injury and everything else like that. But I can honestly see this horse starting to light up his interest now again for racing, and I definitely think, I suppose, providing he's still able to jump and still able to go about his races, he's definitely going to be very, very in the mix. Obviously, he has to come up against One Cool Poet, who put in a decent enough performance in Leopardstown over the Christmas one, fifth to, I was going to say Take All by ridden by Alan King that particular day, but Alan was third. I can't remember who won that particular day, but I know Alan was 5 or 6 lengths up going into the turn in. But yeah, no, look at, I just think One Cool Poet, he's more of a flat horse. Like, he's not necessarily a hurdler. Like, he'll always be remembered for the week in Galway in 2019 when he notched up a 4 or 5 timer, a 4 timer I think it was. So obviously, look at, that's more his line, and that's probably why he's so popular in the market. But just keep an eye on this Ballycanes. He's going to be very, very prolific, I think, over the, I suppose, going into the summer jump months and everything else like that. 3:30 is going to be my patron pick of the day, so I'm not going to be covering this one. And 4 o'clock, we're going straight from the nap to the next best. Soviet Pimpernel for Peter Fahey and Dylan Robinson taking £3 off. Currently priced in around 4-1. Now look at this one here. It's a tricky one because obviously, look at Willie has a horse here for the Donnellys that's standing out by a country mile at the top of the market, and obviously, yeah, you would seriously have to consider him. But I'm a big fan of these elusive Pimpernels. I really, really like the way they are progressing, the way they're so hardy, they're so, like, their mental capacity for racing and just that love a good hard slog and a good hard battle. I'm really, really impressed with these ones. He was a very, very good second in Fairy House, if I'm not mistaken, off the top of my head. I think it was Fairy House now. I'm not 100% sure, but he put in a very, very decent performance that particular day on Chasing debut. Standard enough progression should be well capable of landing him in the frame here. Price of 4-1 is absolutely massive value. I thought he was going to be much shorter than that. I know, look at the Fahy setup. It's not necessarily been, I suppose, firing in all cylinders for the last couple of weeks or so. Anyway, I don't actually think they've had a winner over the last couple of weeks. But I just think that Soviet Pimpernel, it's the class act in the race, in my opinion, and I just think 4-1 is absolutely incredible value for him. 4:30 then is going to be my big price horse of the day. In my opinion, I think he's definitely well worth considering for a win bet, but at a price of 12-1, sidetracked for Garroge O'Loughlin and Ben Harvey, claiming £4, I think he is definitely well worth considering for an each way perspective. Now look at, it's very hard to assess this lad. I suppose going by the name and being very being very well suited to his name, this horse can get very, very sidetracked. Um, on a good day, he's capable of beating the very best of them. And on a good day, he is the standout horse of the race. But it's just getting him to that particular day. He is, I suppose, very frustrating. I suppose, look at he's a horse that'll put up, I suppose, the best way, in my opinion, anyway, to describe it is maybe like one step forward, two steps back. Um, he could show progression one day, he'd show regression the next. But the fact that Garage O'Loughlin is going off 100% strike rate for the runners that he's had over the last 2 weeks. Now, look at, I know he's only had two runners, and Machuca broke my heart there today, considering I had live, love, laugh for the patron tip. It really, I suppose, it really just goes to show how good a form that Garage has his horses in. I'm not going to make the same mistake of writing them off like I did there today. I just think that should Sidetrack be good enough, and should Sidetrack be ready to go, he's good enough to win this race, and therefore 12-1, in my opinion, is absolutely incredible value. Finally then, the 5 o'clock and the last leg of our treble. Prize fighter here for Willie Mullins and Patrick Mullins. This one here definitely stands out a country mile in breeding terms anyway. Is it a half sister or a half brother? It's one of the two anyway to Get a Bird. Realistically, it's not necessarily the strongest of bumpers. Should this prize fighter take any, I suppose, qualities from Get a Bird, it's definitely thereabouts, and is actually more than thereabouts. It's a mile clear of the field. Now look at Willie's horse drifted a barge there today. This lad's starting to go on the drift as well. So I don't really know what to make of it. Obviously, look at Willie's horse went on to win. And before I go on about it as well, I want to say a massive congratulations to Stephen Mahon. Finally, I suppose, getting back into the frame and getting back into the swing of things after, I suppose, just not being lucky enough with ground and everything else like that. It's great to see him in the frame again. But going back to the point again about this prize fighter, it's it's all, I suppose, a lottery at this stage. There's an awful lot of these that maybe, I suppose, underrated, maybe better than what the breeding line suggests, and so therefore, like, I wouldn't necessarily be going all in, but just, I suppose, in terms, should the breeding line take centre stage in this particular race, this prize fighter is definitely living up to his name, and he is top of the ranks. I just think that he's going to be a little bit too good for the field here now. I know Henry has a horse here for Rob Cord that's after winning the point to point, but I'm going to avoid it simply because of his record in bumpers. I just think that Willie is the king of bumpers especially, and he's definitely dangerous to overlook. And at a price of 9-4, I'll happily add that into my fairly nice price treble. 6-1, 4-7, and 9-4. That would pay a fairly pretty penny at the end of the day if the three of them win. But look, I'm going to leave it there. Please make sure to keep liking, sharing, and subscribing. I'm not going to spend too much longer on it now because we're nearly at the 20-minute mark. But look, I'll just give a brief introduction to Patreon, like what it is. €10 a month. What we're doing so far is for the giveaway there this month, we have a Cheltenham tipping competition there for the duration of the festival, with a prize pot of £200. So realistically, look, we're giving away 200 quid regardless. If you're not in it, you can't win it. It's as simple as that. But look, I leave a link in the description below if you want to sign up. It's greatly appreciated. No one has a gun to your head, but it is, I suppose, it's great to be great to be getting the support, I suppose, from all of you as well. But look, like I said, please make sure to keep liking, sharing, and subscribing. Sorry again that I haven't been in the best of form recently, but hopefully now tomorrow will change things again. And look, if you're going to be having a bet tomorrow, the very best of luck, and hopefully we'll be on the back of plenty more winners. Thanks very much, and best of luck tomorrow.